Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Virche Evermore. Continuing science route. We're now in chapter 4, so the end could come at any moment. And I meant that for Cyan because the end has already come for poor Adolphe. Jesus Christ. What the hell? First Lucas killed Cyan, then the royal family killed Adolphe. What the hell? So far in Mathis's route, that's the only one where nobody died. I don't think they did. We didn't see them dying, so but anyway, I don't remember. But Jesus, anyway. Now we're sad and probably a hotel room somewhere. Secret hideout. Hugo's house, I don't know. An old abandoned house located on the outskirts of the country. That answers that. I couldn't seem to recall clearly why I was here. I wonder whose responsibility it was, Science carrying me to be like, I'll just hold that for you, Spacey. Okay. And then put me to say they took Adolphe's head from me. What? I mean, Cyan, how do you feel? You were bleeding pretty badly.
I'm fine now. Of course, my wounds can still open.
At the far end of the room was a large bed, and on it was Cyan, covered with bruises and wounds. God, look at him. It's so beautiful. That's all I've got. Ugh. Remembered he lost consciousness the moment he got here after taking a horrible beating from Boro. He somehow survived, but it took a few hours for him to be able to talk like that again. As for the one who inflicted those wounds, Boro hadn't shown himself ever since. I mean, you have to be amazed because he was basically bleeding to death, about ready to die. He managed to get out. We got to the orphanage. He picked us up, carried us. By the time he got here, he was out. He powered through some shit. Emotionally, not, but physically, yes.
By the way, where's the Claude family duo? I don't see them around.
They went back to the mansion. It seems they'll be able to hide with enough provisions to last a while. I gave them a transmitter to use, so we're gonna keep in touch when possible.
Also, the thing is nobody saw them in the house, so they're probably safe, but they might think, you never know. Because they've been associated with us once before. And we're also in contact with the core members who survived. We still need information, even while they're in hiding. I see. With their conversation over... Well, that's true, we have Sister Salome with us. I forgot about that. A heavy silence filled the air. Everyone was looking at me and Mother. As for Mother, she was looking at the person she took from my arms and now cradled in hers. Oh, they just let us keep his head. I don't think that was a good idea, but okay. Let the crazy ladies baby the head. I mean, I get it. We're traumatized and sometimes you just... But at the same time, it's maybe we need to somebody needs to take it away from him. Adolphe. Okay. Look at how beautiful she is without her little nun habit on. Well, at least the hood part. She's still in her dress. But he wasn't a person anymore. It was Adolphe's head. Evidence of a tragedy that his family could no longer pretend was merely a nightmare. Mother and I... We were unable to move even a muscle.
So he's really dead.
I mean, that's usually what happens when your head gets detached from your body. Yeah...
I can't train with him anymore.
Oh, I thought we were past it. Okay, we'll be fine. Adolphe's dead, but then they just really want to drag you down and make it worse, don't they? Jeez. Hugo quietly patted Eve on the shoulder as he looked down at the floor. I am kind of glad, though, it's split up in 2 parts. Not that I didn't just record this part directly after the last one. I had a 5-minute break, though. But, at least for you guys. Because, if we had to record this whole thing in one long part with, Adolphe losing his head and then going into this, could you stop? I had a few minutes to be like, it'll be okay, and then oh god, we're right back here, and the knife in my chest. Oh dear. Ugh. Everyone apart from Cyan was unable to accept the sudden departure of someone they knew too well. But it wasn't only Adolphe who passed away in a way we didn't expect. They couldn't make their graves. Children left them all back at the orphanage. Couldn't even give them a single prayer. They're supposed to be my family.
Miss Macy.
I recalled everything the moment I closed my eyes. Children lying dead everywhere, and the members of the Corps who tried to protect them. The pungent smell of blood. And Adolphe's body forced down to the floor. Adolphe's head rolling to my feet upon his decapitation. Could we not? We were just there. This is one of those times we don't need the flashback game. Not because you're doing them too much, but because it's too real and too painful, and please don't remind us. Oh, God, my chest hurts. Oh. So why can't I shed even a single tear? Because it hurts too much and it's too real. And well, me, I'm reading a game, so I'm like, nope, it's not real. I can pretend it's real for her. But it's one of those times where sometimes you can't. You just can't. You know? I would like to say I think we've all been there, but I really hope we all have not been there. But at some point, everyone will get there. One of these moments where you're like, yeah, I'm so sad, because you can't process it. And sometimes you just don't want it to be real. And then it hits you at the worst possible fucking time, and everyone's like, why the fuck are you crying at your desk at work? And you're like, I just am okay, you know? Like, I mean, obviously, I spent the morning crying as I was holding my bird while he was dying, and then I was like, okay, I'm actually okay, because I'm in a lot of pain, so I know it was better. Like, logically, I know. It doesn't mean I'm not going to miss him, but I know he's in a better place. You know? I still, like, every once in a while admit, like, oh, look, his little... Oh, yeah, he's not there anymore, and it's kind of sad. And I keep saying, oh, poor tiny bird, but it's like, it's not poor tiny bird. It's poor me and Mr. Neelix, because we're the ones with a little hole left in our hearts. Tiny bird is in a better place. He's not hurting anymore. Poor tiny bird was when he was suffering. Now he's happy. He's in, like, little bird heaven, and he's, like, climbing all over shit, flying around, feeling great. So, like, good for him, you know? So, like... But, like, all of a sudden, like, earlier today, a song came on, and I was like, you know, he's in a better place. I miss him, he's a poor little bird. I'm just thinking of a sad little face, and I'm like, look, he was so cute! And it hurts again, you know? And you're like... To be fair, it's only been a day, but, like, you know... And it's, like, one of those things that, like... When my dad was dying, it was kind of like you have those moments where it's real, like, oh my god, I'm getting on a plane because my dad's gonna die. Like, what happens if he dies before I get there? And he held on for a few days, and you're at the hospital, and and you're like, okay, this is my reality. And then when he's gone, you're like, okay, like we were there. Like, I watched my dad die, you know, which. I don't want to say it was good, but it's like, I needed that. You know what I mean? It's better than just getting a call that this person's gone. Like, because that doesn't feel real. Like, we were there, which is good. And, I mean, obviously you have moments where you're kind of sad and whatever, but I don't think I fully processed it or grieved the way I needed to, like, in that moment. It wasn't until later that then you're at work after your bereavement, and then you're sobbing hysterically at your desk like a week later, and you're like, oh dear God, like, I don't want anyone to ask me why I'm sobbing hysterically, but I also want people to ask. You know what I mean? You don't want people to be like, I'm sorry about your dad. Because you don't want people to acknowledge it, because it's going to make it feel worse, but you at the same time want people to acknowledge it, because you're like, I need someone to acknowledge my pain, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing. It's a weird place to be. But there are times where you are like, I should be able to cry about this tragic experience and I just fucking can't, and I logically know I want to, but I can't fucking do it. And then all of a sudden 3 years later, you'll just be like, oh my god! And then you just cry for no fucking reason because human emotions are fucking stupid. I mean, they're great, but they're kind of stupid. You know what I mean? Like, humanity is kind of dumb. Let's be real. Our bodies and our brain, everything about us is so fucking bizarre and, like, so dumb. So, So, yeah. We've all either been in this situation or you will be at some point. But if you've never been in this situation, you will be. And it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with you or why you can't cry. It's just sometimes you can't process your grief enough to cry. It will happen later at the most inconvenient time. Don't worry. And you know what? If you've ever been in that situation or you're in that situation where you are just crying for no fucking reason in the supermarket, just fucking do it. Because the more people who cry in public and aren't afraid of their emotions, the better. We shouldn't be teaching our children, boys, that crying is for girls. No, crying is for everyone. Emotions are for everyone. Boys have emotions too, and they should be allowed to express them. And crying doesn't make you motherfucking weak. So don't teach our daughters that, like, oh, you're crying, you're obviously weak. Fuck you, I'll kill you. I'll cry, but I'm gonna stab you and we'll see how weak I am. You know what I mean? Like, god damn it, I hate that so much. Emotions are okay to have even if they're like mine and completely unfucking stable. Then maybe we need a therapist or some medication. I don't know, but anyway. That wasn't the point of this. But no, I've been here. I get it. And goddamn, they're really good at making this game real. Like, why can't I cry? Too real. That's how it works. Anyway. My eyes were completely dry, and I hadn't been blinking much as I gazed into the air. Also, considering the fact that everything that you just saw, you probably can't process it fully. It's not just Adolphe, it's the children and the violent way everybody died, Felt nothing. Why? Is it because I was so used to spreading misfortune and seeing death? No, it's because you can't comprehend what happened and the tragedy and just how awful it was. I don't want to be strong like this. Oh, trust me, you're not. I don't want my strength. So God, please return Adolphe and the others to me. I was unable to cry with Mother, even when my dead foster brother and the rest of my family died. Oh, and my dear foster brother, not my dead. My dear foster brother. God, I can't read. I was such a cold person. Oh, that's not true. And also, don't think that. If you were ever in a position where something tragic happens or something bad and you can't cry, you are not a cold person. Okay? You're not a cold person. It's not because you're strong. Maybe it is because you're strong and you can, hold your emotions in until you're alone and you cry and that's more comfortable for you. That's fine. But you're not a cold person. You might be. But don't just assume you are, okay? Know yourself enough to know I'm not a cold person. It's just this is too much tragedy for me to process and I'll cry at the grocery store in 3 days.
Stop it already.
I raised my head a bit, hearing his firm voice. I looked at the bed to discover Cyan with his back straight up, looking down at us, slumped in our seats.
If you have the time to feel sorry, you should hurry and give that head a proper burial.
He's going to rot at this rate.
How cold and awful. Besides, Cyan is cold. There's proof. But also, he's not wrong. And in a way, that was really nice of him. Like, stop feeling. If you have time to feel sorry for yourself, you have time to bury him. And it's not. Oh, he's gonna rot. Ugh, it's like that he's giving us an excuse to go bury him and grieve and, do what we need to do. We can't do it for the children, but we can do it for Adolphe's head. Mother and I looked at her hands upon hearing his calm voice. Adolphe was looking up at her with the same hollow eyes as earlier. That's even more freaky. Perhaps the others couldn't bear seeing him like that any longer.
He's right. All we should do as he says.
Sister, I know it's tough, but... No! Hugo reached out to Mother, but she embraced Adolphe's head as if to protect him. Adolphe isn't dead yet! He can revive as a reliver if we still have his brain! He's my dear, precious child! I cannot bear to kill the only one we could save from the orphanage! Don't you know how lonely Adolphe will be if we bury him in a place like this? He's going to be all alone! So no! I'm not letting him go!
You already know that once a life is lost, it can never return. It's impossible without a backup.
But Adolphe is still...
Sister Salome, please give him a proper burial while he's still the way we remember him. We don't want to see our friend turn into an unbearable state.
She held tight to his head, but without any real strength. Eve gently reached out to Adolphe to set him free from Mother's arms. Mother screamed to have him back, but upon looking into Adolphe's eyes... That was me just screaming a little bit because I hate this whole scenario right now. She fell to the floor in tears. Mother! So sorry, Mother. I embraced her from behind and apologized repeatedly. My fault. It's happened because I involved Adolphe and everyone else at the orphanage. My selfish apology didn't reach anyone. It didn't matter whether Death, who spread misfortune, repented for her crimes. Those lives that had been lost would never, ever return. Honko did warn us, I'm just saying. Also, I realized that... Holy shit. Hopefully the music hasn't been really too loud in the last couple parts. I just realized that I didn't change the volume settings back, from playing Sims this weekend. Fuck. Been like 3 parts now, and I was like, you know, it seems really loud all of a sudden. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. But it seems loud to me, and it's really hard to tell, because like when I listen to the recordings, it sounds really loud, but then when I process, I think Adobe processes shit, and then it turns it down even more, so like, I can never fucking tell, guys. A few hours later, even the others buried Adolphe in the garden. A burial without a tombstone. Couldn't even give him a proper burial since the tombstone might give away our location. Just hoped I could take it back to the orphanage someday. What are you gonna do? Dig up his like rotting skull? I mean, if you wait long enough, he's just gonna be a skull. It's just gonna be bones. That's fine. But like, what if he's like decomposing? Gross.
Well, we're gonna take a rest in the other room. Call us if you need anything.
Hey. Mother fell unconscious after crying and screaming and was taken to another room to rest. Even the others headed to each of their rooms, tired and burned out. Cyan must have also reached his limit as he fell asleep again on the bed next to me. Oh, they're leaving me and Cyan together in bed. I mean, not like anything's gonna happen, the man's half dead, but I'm just saying, they're still leaving us together. We fucking make out now. He's half dead. Considering our situation, we should really discuss our next course of action, but no one in the house had the strength or spirit left in them to do so, sorry. That applied to me as well. Without the strength to even move, I simply slouched in the corner of the room alone. On the floor were fresh bloodstains. I assumed they were from the blood that dripped from Adolphe's neck. Fault. Killed Adolphe. Only I didn't suggest we look after Cyan. It's all my fault. I kept repeating the same words. No. Think. What should I have done? My eyes were still dry, preventing me from shedding even a single tear. I wasn't sure how many hours had passed. It seemed I fell asleep. I quickly awoke when I heard a sound coming from nearby. I looked around from where I was sitting on the floor.
Ugh.
Cyan was groaning in pain on the bed. Dim light in the room showed him gritting his teeth with sweat rolling down his forehead. Cyan... I slowly stood and looked at Cyan's face. Looks like he's in pain. I want to help him. I hated how I could come to this thought despite everything that happened. After all, if I didn't have this desire to stay by Cyan's side, Delphi and everyone might not have died. Girl, don't! Oh my god, these twisted thoughts of like, if it wasn't for you, are you starting to resent him? They didn't have to stay either. It would be so much simpler if I could just curse him for what happened. Only I could hate him for dragging me into his mess. He didn't drag you, though. You ran along behind him. Let's be fair. But, Cyan, although it's a very real thought to be like, this is your fault. It's like, you came along for the ride. Yeah, but you know what? It's because I love you. So if you didn't exist and make me love you, then I wouldn't have done this. And like, you blame someone else for your mistakes because it's easier than accepting the responsibility for your own actions, you know? Human. All right. No matter what, I couldn't leave this person with his straightforward eyes. Before I knew it, I was gently wiping Cyan's forehead with my handkerchief. His eyelids twitched, then slowly opened. It's you. Cyan turned his head in my direction, struggling to fix his eyes upon me. He looked shocked. His vivid reliever eyes showed a reflection of my golden hair in a different color. Your wounds might be swollen. If you don't mind, let me take a look. Cyan left himself in my care without putting up a fight. I wondered if he was worried that I might harm him out of resentment. Then again, I didn't have the strength to feel such a powerful emotion right now. He slowly removed the sheet, then his clothes. Thinking his hairpin might get in the way, I removed that too. Taking his hair down? I mean, I understand taking off his shirt. You're taking off all his clothes? I was like... As expected, the bandages wrapped around his abdomen were wet with blood. I'm gonna remove the bandages so that... Oh, hi! Hello! Shirtless Cyan. Oh! I was like, are we gonna get a CG of him shirtless? No, we get a sprite, though. And she took his hair down, so now we've got, like... I don't know why she had to take his hair down. That makes no sense whatsoever, but... It was like, no, this way you get, like, tousled hair side. But still, to be fair, this is like when Eve takes his hair down, and you're like, put it back up, because it's getting jellyfish-like up in here. Like, it's a little, like... You have the little bit of the... That's fine, but when you take it down, it just looks slightly ridiculous. You know? But, like, hi. I mean, the poor man's all bruised and broken and sliced up, but... Can't say I don't like it. Huh? I tried to deny what I was seeing. I expected his wounds from his fight against Boro to be bad. What stood out more than those wounds were the scars all over his body. Judging by the color of his skin around those scars, I assumed they were inflicted a long time ago. That's interesting, because you'd think that you would have a perfect reliever body, but... Cyan, about these...
You think they're horrible?
Cyan must have noticed my confusion as he chuckled cynically.
I didn't get those from anyone. I wounded myself out of necessity.
I mean, I kind of figured. But, like, it's funny that, like... But to be fair, you're doing experiments on yourself, probably. Okay. I'm assuming. But also, like... I have a scar. When I create a clone body, it's gonna have a scar. You know? What do you mean?
It was needed in order to create a new reliever. I had the majority of the required data from my tests on the criminals, so I used my own body to see how I would fare. The result was a failure. I was able to strengthen my lungs, but it came with a serious defect.
His body? Which meant...
Some idiot used the data without permission.
What are you talking about?
It's exactly as I said. Someone in the Institute stole my prototype data and used it to turn him into a reliever. Not only was it a prototype, but it also had known side effects.
So, like, to test his new things, he tests it and he makes himself a clone first. Crazy. Don't tell me... The side effects you were talking about back then... He nodded to confirm my suspicions as I put new bandages on his body. Oh, and now we get to see him all bandaged up! But still topless. Enjoying it.
The body I'm using has modified lungs, which helps suppress the effects of the curse and keep symptoms from surfacing. But every breath is a struggle that causes significant pain. It's more than those feeble royals can endure. I can maintain my strength through drugs and performing operations on myself. Which is the very reason I kept the data secret, so that others couldn't access it.
So the documents that the people found, that was his research and his work, but he was like, it's kind of a failure, so interesting.
And some idiot found it, and here we are now.
So that's what happened. So technically he is responsible, but he's not creating those clones. He's like, I did this. I did it on myself. Yeah, this doesn't work. Awesome. So not going to use it on people until I perfect it on myself. He's not using, I mean, he's doing experiments on criminals, but he's using himself as the first guinea pig to see if the reliver technology that he's fixed works. And then he's like, nope, this sucks. Not going to use that on other people. And then someone found his data and is using it on other people. And then so technically all of the people that are dying, like, are because of his work, but stolen work that he was not ready to, like, he was like, nope, not ready. And someone was like, nah, fuck that, gonna release it. Interesting. Why did you try it on yourself? Your experiments are painful, so why didn't you test the criminals instead? I knew saying so was morally repugnant, but my question was based on efficiency.
And that would be reasonable.
Stop standing. Okay, now your hair doesn't look as ridiculous, although sort of, but still, it's kind of glorious now.
But my objective is to preserve human life. If so, I should be the first person to pay the price. Everything I do is out of egotism.
He was right. He was working to create relivers that could fight the curse of death. Cyan wasn't simply forcing others to sacrifice themselves. Cyan Brophies, 3. He's experimented on his own body to develop relivers with stronger lungs to suppress the effects of the curse. This has resulted in severe pain, crippled with difficulty in breathing, which he suppresses with strong mental fortitude, medicine, and performing operations on himself.
In any case, I'm not a noble man, given the meaningless deaths I've caused.
My thoughts froze when I heard the words he said. He must be referring to Adolphe and the children. Suddenly I felt emotion starting to flow from deep inside, along with a sense of sorrow that made me want to vomit, but lips were shut so tightly that I couldn't.
Not expressing your grudge against me. Your family wouldn't have died if you weren't connected to me.
But, I don't know.
Huh?
Cyan, you said it yourself. I was the one who wanted to stay by your side. That resulted in what happened. It means I was the one who killed Adolphe and the others. I thought I could always stand beside Cyan's strength and determination to fight the curse. I thought that would make me forget that I caused misfortune as death. Which is why I don't have the right to hold a grudge against you, Cyan. Oh my god. This is beautiful. Oh my god. It gets even more beautiful. The look on his face is like this shocked look. It almost looks like she, like, it's a CG in case you didn't know from my, my god, it's beautiful. Oh my god, I love it. It almost looks like she kind of threw herself into his arms, but at the same time, like, cause he's shocked, like, are you hugging me? But the way he's holding her is like he pulled her in. Oh my god. Oh my god, I love it. Our robot is learning emotions.
Stop.
He suddenly pulled me by the arm. I was enveloped in the heat of his body from his fever. I mean... Oh, goddamn, I love it. From above, I heard the voice of God, who didn't bend even against death.
It's pointless to spend all your energy ruminating on what cannot be changed. And think of your priorities.
Priorities. I understood very well that he didn't say these calm words out of kindness. So why... I know what you're saying, but... What are we going to do? Why did I want to hear his answers so much? Can we kiss now?
Isn't it obvious? We need to take back the Institute. I have no intention of quitting my research to save humanity. and I'm always ready for a fight. But firstly, I need to change my body since my current one won't last much longer. I can't die now.
Lion sounded like he was in pain, but he still spoke with conviction. How the fuck are we gonna get in a lab, get a body, get you cool, and do all that without anybody finding us? It takes a while, doesn't it? Knew it. He didn't even hint at trying to seek vengeance. But he wasn't the only one who lost everything. Why are you putting in so much effort and trying so hard? This country betrayed you. The people you were trying to save denounced you and are trying to blame you for everything. Haven't you done enough? Sure, Dalit will take over the reliver research and make it so that so you can remember memories, so that maybe in the salvation ending you get a new body and you'll actually still love me. Because right now, if you have any kind of emotion in there at all, like you're embracing me, so there's something here. Like, you have some kind of emotion deep down underneath. Or you're at least a robot who understands there, pat on head. This is the right thing to do, right? Still, I'll take it. You know. So please, I don't have to put up a fight anymore, Cyan. I didn't want someone like him taken away from me. That was my earnest plea, but
No, I have to.
his firm voice denied me my wish. Cyan,
Abandoning my research means giving up my birthright to save the people. I can't run away from my responsibility as the man who's able to observe this world. And if I give up, it also means I'll be unable to fight your inevitable death one day. I can't let that happen.
oh my god, that was basically him telling us he loves us. I'm sorry. This is gonna make me cry. Did our robot kind of love us in its own way? I'm not really gonna cry, but I'm still like, my heart is like, oh, it hurts in the good way. Not the way it hurt when Adolphe's head rolled to the floor, but like, you know. Huh? I raised my head a bit. Please kiss me now. Cyan was looking straight at me with an expression devoid of any emotion. You know, fine.
I like you to the extent that I want to keep you as my own. Of course, to take care of the daily chores.
Yeah, whatever you say.
But I don't like how you are now. Show me the pathetic, worrisome side of you that I'm used to.
The moment I heard his words, the tears I couldn't shed began flowing from my eyes. Huh? Why am I hurriedly dried the tears that were coming out against my will, but I couldn't make them stop. What was I supposed to do, especially since I didn't have the right to cry? Please don't look. He took my words in the opposite way and pressed my face against his shoulder.
Cry all you want. I can at least do that much for you.
Even if the world doesn't forgive you, I will. That was what he whispered in my ear. Oh my god! I'm sorry! That's gonna kill me! You're trying to tell me this robot doesn't have emotions?
Even if the world doesn't forgive you, I will.
Jesus fucking Christ! Kill me now! Stop it! Why? Oh god, my lungs hurt! Oh Jesus! I'm gonna faint. Can we kiss now? If we kiss, I'm gonna absolutely fucking die. That's gonna be the nail in my coffin. Dolphe, everyone, sorry. I'm sorry. I knew I shouldn't, but the tears didn't stop as my frozen heart began to thaw. My tears flowed and wet his fresh bandages. All I could do now was cry. It was noon the next day when we were able to discuss our next course of action in earnest. God damn it, why do we never get kissed? It might not have been the good moment, but I just need this man to kiss me. God damn. Still, that was the most touching and emotionally romantic moment that we will probably ever have with that motherfucker, and I am okay with it. He's a robot, but god damn it, I love it. I love the robots. It was noon the next day when we were able to discuss our next course of action in earnest. Even Hugo had just returned from their patrol around the surrounding area. The injured Cyan was still on the bed, and the others took a seat nearby. I have a feeling this isn't going to go well. I mean, right? The expression on everyone's faces was glum. It would be difficult to have a constructive conversation. Still, Cyan started the conversation by bringing up something positive. Meanwhile, he's sitting there shirtless. I'm sorry, was anybody talking? I'm distracted.
Taking back the Institute.
Can I just say, I love the fact that Eve's got, like, suspenders that are useless. I don't know what they're for, but they're like, just, are they holding up anything on his sleeves? It's like a part of his shirt that's just clipped to his vest. And I've noticed them before, but it's kind of been one of those, like, in passing thing. And, like, his vest also is a very long tail situation. Like, it's got, like, I'm a fan of a fucking magician hem, okay? To be fair, Hugo's jacket's... Nah, actually, I'm not sure if that's Hugo's jacket. That's his sword scabbard. I can't tell if his jacket's also like that. I think it is, but... Anyway, what the fuck are the point of the little straps hooking to his... What is the point of them? I don't know, but I love them! But it's also kind of like the, like arm garters that you get, the shirt, just so that, like, if you pull your sleeve up, it kind of holds your sleeve up. Like, no different than, like, leg garters, like, to hold your stockings up. But, like, men have shirts, and you see them in, like, oldie time things. So I feel like that's what it is, but they're, like, doing some kind of weird thing with them. But, like, I'm here for it. I love it. It doesn't sound very realistic to me. But we don't really have the manpower to storm that place.
I understand that, which is why I said we should come up with a plan.
I wasn't sure what everyone would say. Mother was participating, but she didn't say a word. Her face was pale, and she stared at the floor with hollow eyes. Cyan let out a sigh, seeing how heavy the atmosphere in the room was.
I'm not saying we should set a plan now. How are things outside so far?
We're all enemies of the public, especially you being deaf and all.
We would have more options if the people had their doubts, but I don't think there's anyone who believes you right now.
I see.
In any case, I will have Mathis and the Corps continue gathering information until you're recovered, Cyan. Oh, and it'd help if you could tell us everything about the Institute so we can offer suggestions on regaining control.
Not a problem. I'll devise a plan on my end.
Look at him just flashing us. I just like how he's just doing his fancy little poses, all bruised and, like, topless. Oh, this little whore boy. Oh, okay, God. You know, he's a robot, so he probably has no romantic involvements with anything, but he's still, like, out of everyone, he's still the whore. He's the science whore, is what it is.
If you don't like what I come up with, you can lay out your reasoning then.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure. After all, our lives are at stake here. We were being chased and didn't have much freedom, but Cyan hadn't lost his will to fight. But with the conversation over, Cyan's body quickly went limp. His wounds must still be painful. Cyan, please don't push yourself. Why don't you get some rest now?
I'll do that. I'll get some sleep while I still can.
Cyan lay down on the bed without objecting. Just a few seconds, he was fast asleep.
It looks like Cyan's in bad shape.
Yeah, he's pushing himself quite a bit. Well, it's nothing short of a miracle that he survived with those wounds. Another silence filled the room. Do you mind if I ask you something? Wanting to waste even a second, I somehow mustered the strength to speak up. About Cyan's idea of wanting to take back the Institute. What are your thoughts? I honestly don't want to get dragged into his mess anymore. I do want to avenge Adolphe, but the target's too powerful. I know this sounds bad, but we have the option to give ourselves up if Cyan dies. That would lift the bounty on our heads.
I doubt that would work. I mean, you saw what happened to Sister Salome's orphanage just because it was spacey in Adolphe's home. I doubt they'd let us go since we already sided with Cyan. If that's the case, I want to keep fighting.
You want to take back the Institute?
Yeah, Cyan's innocent, right? It'd be awful to see him being executed for crimes he didn't commit. I mean, the crimes he did commit, sure, but the other ones he didn't, that's not fair.
He didn't say it, but you know, somewhere inside.
Reliver research is able to advance because of him, so I doubt he's too expendable.
I guess you have a point, Eve. Eve was willing to talk and listen to Boro, but even he couldn't endure the crimes of the royal family. Which means the rest is... We then turned our attention to Mother. It seemed like she heard what we said as she slowly looked up after noticing that we were looking at her. The royal family should be killed! She has been silent and basically like in a trance, and then she's like, I'll fucking slaughter those assholes. I love her. She mumbled to herself. Huh? Even if the Institute is taken back, the same will continue to happen if the royal family is still alive. If you really want to take back the place, you'll need to kill them all. I want to see her put on like some fucking tight ass cat suit and just all of a sudden we're like, are you a fucking ninja? And just whip out some swords and guns and just like go to fucking town slaughtering people. Like I need to see her like fucking Black Widow this shit. You know what I mean? Like kick some fucking ass. She said so in a very calm voice, but cold sweat rolled down our backs at the intense pressure we felt from her. Well, I suppose you're right, but...
Well, that's, I know we want to avenge Adolphe and the others, but that's a tall order.
You're telling me to sit here quietly after my child was killed? You're only able to say that because you don't know how horrible and lowly the royal family is. I was happy, but then they... Mother looked worse with each word she muttered. She began to speak faster and faster until... Oh, she's crazy now! Look at her crazy eyes!
Sister Salome, what's wrong?
Mother, are you okay? I can't wait till she's gonna snap and we're gonna find out all her secrets now. Something was definitely wrong, as we couldn't hear a word she was saying now. We looked on in confusion, unable to get through to her when...
What are you doing?
Cyan woke up from his sleep from all the commotion. Cyan, something's terribly wrong with Mother. Hearing my plea for help, Cyan squinted his eyes and looked at Mother.
Yeah, a common issue among relivers. The memory is unable to fully process data due to extreme excitement or tension.
Was there a way to bring her back? Like, unplug her? Turn her off? Turn her back on? Like, we call the help desk? What do we do?
Like...
You need to calm her down. Just let her rest in bed or something.
Got it. Spacey, stay with her. Okay. Even Hugo briskly lifted Mother and carried her away to another room. Some time had passed. Mother, how do you feel? I slowly peeked inside after giving her some time to rest. Spacey, I'm sorry about earlier. I just felt so distraught. Thank goodness, it's our usual Mother. I let out a sigh of relief and walked over to her side with an old tea set on a serving plate. Mother, are you thirsty? Here, please drink this. He found some wild tea leaves outside that we could brew. Thank you. I should be the one supporting everyone. I'm pathetic. Please don't say that. You lost all the children in your care, woman. It's okay. Anyone would feel the way you did after experiencing what happened. She went quiet again. I bet no matter how much time passed, she would never be able to talk calmly about the tragedy at the orphanage. So why did this have to happen? Oh, she didn't say so. It's just why did this have to happen? Sorry. I don't know why my brain saw the word so in there. No. I couldn't respond to her question. Mother probably heard on the way here what happened at the Institute when we were attacked, but I'd tell her what happened to myself. After all, it's my responsibility. Let me explain. Ah, that's not what I was trying to say. Huh? I've known you a long time. I knew you were hiding the fact that you were helping Cyan. Adolphe himself said something along those lines. Mother, I could feel her love and compassion from the words she spoke to me without blame, as well as a great deal of regret. Very sorry. If I hadn't acted so mindlessly... No, you don't need to apologize. I must admit I was sad you didn't discuss it with your mother, but... that really isn't the point. The point is that I believe what happened is my divine punishment. Divine punishment? That was completely the opposite of what Mother deserved. We don't know what secret she's hiding. You don't know, girl. But you're the one who raised us when no one else was willing to take us in. There's no way a kind person like you deserves to be punished, Mother. Mother smiled sadly. Is this where we're getting all of our secrets? Come on, come on, come on. I wasn't managing the orphanage purely out of goodwill. I was selecting talented children who could lead this country to a better future. She been, like, secretly plotting government upheaval? Damn, girl! Selecting? What do you mean by that? For what purpose? You're aware that I've known Cyan for a long time. I was raising talented children and sending them to the Institute to become researchers. I suppose in that sense I was supporting him. Never knew. It must have been a secret that she hadn't even disclosed to Adolphe. So, that's your secret? That's how you know? That's not as anywhere near as exciting as either one of the options I came up with. I'm just saying, like, okay, sure, but also like, oh, it's such a letdown. Well, what's so bad about that? You're raising the children to become the future of this country. And that's not all. I took you into the orphanage because of your abilities. You mean me? This misfortune you supposedly caused sounded very similar to the curse of death that afflicted this country. Which is why I thought you were death, reborn to curse this land, or perhaps someone related to the curse. And do you remember how Adolphe didn't exhibit any symptoms of the curse, even at his age? Now that you mention it, Adolphe was so strong and healthy, I sometimes forgot he was 21. Okay, wait! So you're telling me Adolphe has also magic abilities, and that explains why he's still alive thousands of years later and able to be a time traveler in a different... I'm just saying, okay. Depending on how things progressed, I planned on sending you two over to Cyan. Okay, well that's interesting. Alright, I mean, I'm not as disappointed now with your reveal. I still think one of my ideas was better, but I was raising talented children to send them to be researchers. Okay, and I also might have used you as guinea pigs. Okay, some darkness here. Alright, okay. Still not as exciting as my ideas, but still better than I was working with Cyan to find research and children we could raise to be researchers for him. That's not as cool. But I like this little darkness. All for the sake of lifting the curse. The sacrifices for the country. So you mean Adolphe and I were actually destined to end up being tested inhumanely like those criminals? And this was going to happen through the mother who raised and guided us? Noticing my expression, Mother continued to speak sadly. Like, damn though! The old me would have never supported research requiring sacrifices. I couldn't have traded my integrity for that purpose. But beyond that was my frustration toward the royal family. She said that there was a reason she wanted to lift the curse of death so badly. She slowly began to explain. I became a reliver around 60 years ago through the use of the technology Cyan developed when I was 21 years old. Back then I lived in harmony with my child, who was left behind after my kind husband passed away from illness. Harmony with my child, Dot. I'm just saying. I was bothered by the curse that encroached upon the country and the ethos of its citizens. We can live on forever through reliver technology! We can die as many times as we want now that we can revive into relivers! Using the newly found reliver technology was no reason for people to take their lives so lightly and accept death so readily. Which was why I said, the ethics of this country are terribly weak. We should not be so reliant on reliver technology. We must put an effort to live life like the humans outside of this country. And with that, I began to research the curse from a different point of view, which would also explain why Dawnhood is research. I'm just saying! Come on! Please! Oh my fucking god. But that didn't last long. As I was pursuing the mystery behind the curse, the royal family feared that it would invite disaster and tried to kill me. Because of that, I was separated from my only child and met Cyan by coincidence during my time in hiding. And Dahlhood thinks his mother is dead, but oh my god. Dear god. Please, God. They have the same purple eyes. So that's the only thing. That's the only reason. But then, like, Dahud's bringing up his mom. And sweet Jesus, that'd be so amazing.
As you well know, Cyan was a born genius and the savior who extended the people's lifespans through reliver technology. Which was why I thought he would dismiss my ideas, but surprisingly, our objectives were the same as we both sought to lift the curse. So I decided to cooperate with Cyan and went into hiding in Coen. So many things happened afterward. I joined the Society of Exorcists when it was established to research the curse, but in the end they excommunicated me. And finally, my dear child was killed.
You don't know that, though. I don't think so.
Mother. But I didn't give up. I thought that if I cooperated with Cyan, I'd be able to defeat the curse and the royal family one day.
She has the same color eyes as Dahud, so I'm not. And then he's like, you have the same color hair as my mom, and her and Cyan's hair is similar enough that I'm still, you think. She's like, my kid's dead. Sure. Are you sure? Are you sure? I don't think he is.
And that's why I established the orphanage and became its matron. Mother's shoulders slumped as she finished her story. She must have remembered the suffering she went through back then. I didn't know Mother had such a past. Salome, too, she offered support to Cyan by raising children and sending those with talent to work as researchers at the Institute. She originally took the heroine into her care as a possible key to uncovering the truth behind the curse of death. Mother had spoken so much as though everything needed to be let out. Next, she began to explain the truth behind the fire from before. Before I forget, do you remember when Milo tried to poison you? Yes. Eve almost died after shielding me from that horrible explosion. Yes, to tell you the truth, he stole that drug from my room. Huh? I've been researching the curse for a long time, so I have a stock of various drugs and medicines with me. And then again, I couldn't make good use of them because I wasn't much of a scientist. In fact, I still don't understand how it caused that type of explosion. So that was it. I felt that the discomfort I felt at that time had dissipated a little. Well, that's why Milo didn't say where he got it from. He didn't want anyone suspicious of Mother. Mother knew that, which is why she didn't reprimand Milo too harshly. It all makes sense now, right? I'm a person deserving of divine punishment. I sacrificed my own family for my own agenda, and now I'm trying to use you and everyone else. Without a doubt, I am a despicable woman. Mother's voice was quiet and remorseful. It was true that I felt a sting when Mother said I had been one of her research subjects, but I don't think so. There was no way I believed that the love she gave me all those years was fake. Mother, you did what you could to try and keep me and Adolphe from Cyan. And I don't recall you ever testing me or even trying to get some of my blood. Mother, you always thought about us first and protected us with all your might. So, if you really wanted to find a way to lift the curse, then you wouldn't have warned us not to go near Cyan. Well... Seconds of silence. Mother began to speak in a trembling voice. It's because I saw you two as family. At first I was thinking of using you both for my own sake, but you both became so dear and irreplaceable to me. You two made me remember the happy days I spent with my child, which is why I didn't want to give you up to become test subjects.
And the thing is like, with the other kids, she's finding kids that are talented, smart to become researchers and sending them off to the Institute not as test subjects. So she's not really doing anything wrong there. She's, like, raising future bright minds, like, helping them and, like, sending them to Cyan, like, hey, I got this kid who's a perfect born researcher for you. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not really bad. She's giving them a good life. They're being taken care of, and then they're being raised to go off and be a researcher, which is the future of the country. So, like, you know what I mean? That's not the bad part. And again, like we just said, you didn't hand Adolphe and I over to Cyan. You told us and warned us away from him. So, like, just saying, you aren't as bad as you think you are. Sure, originally your motives were shady, but
that's about all I can say now. Mother squeezed out her love in words. After hearing her speak, I spread my arms, which once held Adolphe, and embraced Mother. Like, seriously, her eyes are the same color. Come on. Then everything's fine. whatever your initial intentions were, you still kept us safe and didn't betray us for anything. It's more complicated than you think. Things don't have to be complicated. Mother, I'm still here, alive and well, because you loved me. And Adolphe joined the Corps to try and keep everyone safe because he wanted to repay your kindness. I didn't want her to think she wasn't a good mother. I was like, I didn't want her to think she was? Wait, what? God, my brain didn't see that wasn't. So regardless of the situation, there's only one person we can call our mother, and that's you. I don't want anyone else. Mother. I could laugh, cry, hope, and feel despair. I felt human emotions because of her. She showered me with love and gave birth to the person I was today. I embraced her with all my might so that she would know how I really felt. That would have been a cute, CG for, if they're... I don't know if they have CGs for... did we ever notice? Do they have sites, other CGs for characters that aren't, your love interest? I mean, we've looked at the CGs for Mathis and Lucas, but my brain is, confused on which game's which and, which ones have things that other ones don't, you know? I could feel Mother trying her best to keep from crying. It must be her pride as a mother, not wanting anyone to see her cry. So instead, she wrapped her arms around me. Thank you. You two are my precious children. I may not have given birth to you, but that doesn't change the fact that you're both my family. Her hug was warm and very different from what I experienced with Cyan yesterday. We held each other tightly until our cold bodies finally became warm again. Well, of course, because hugging your mom is different than hugging the man you want to bone. Jesus. Also, your mom's sweet and nice, and your boyfriend's a robot. So, it's going to feel different. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to stop here. So we're going to see what happens. She keeps saying my precious child who died, and I just don't think, I think Dahut's her son. Because they've never actually met. Dahut doesn't know about Sister Salome. And, she might have taken a different name because she was in hiding. You know what I mean? Capucine has a different name from, when he first took over the Society of Exorcists and stuff like that. So Salome might not be her real name. She's just running here, whatever. She's keeping in touch with Cyan about the things, but she doesn't have any idea, and Cyan might not even know. Nobody might know, and then all of a sudden when we go to take over the Institute, if she comes with us, she's going to be like, and he's going to be like, and it's going to be like, I kind of fucking need, come on. They've set it up where, if that's not what's going to happen, I'm going to be disappointed. That would be so good. But they're side characters, so it's kind of would they really, kind of put that in? You know what I mean? Lucas has a sister, but his sister is a side character. It's his side character. You know what I mean? He's the main character. But then again, there's the weird love that Capucine had for her genes, so that's also a weird thing. So, technically, it's not like the side characters can't have their own things going on outside of their, Capucine had a relationship with Lucas. Nadia has a relationship with Lucas. Capucine and Nadia have a relationship that's really wildly inappropriate and against her will, basically. So Dahut has a relationship with Cyan. Mom has a relationship with Cyan. Doesn't mean Dahut and Salome can't have a relationship with each other as well. You know what I'm saying? And Dahut kind of had a relationship. So, technically we're all intertwining our side characters, so it's possible. And I really kind of hope that's the way it is, because that feels so cool. Dude. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.